Welcome to Voice Rising with Kara Johnstad. Enjoy weekly conversations with leading luminaries, pioneering visionaries, singers, poets, musicians, and sound healers as we explore the profound role our voice plays on the path to self-realization and global enlightenment. The internationally acclaimed singer, composer, author, healer, recording artist, voice expert, creator of Voice Your Essence, and founder of the School of Voice, Kara Johnstad uses her extraordinary spiritual gifts to empower others. Everything in this world vibrates. Everything has a frequency. A pioneer in the field of voice work and transformational songwriting. Her breakthrough methods are helping thousands of people worldwide fine-tune their body-mind-spirit system and unlock the energetic frequencies of limitless creativity, health, and abundance. Share your voice, ask your questions, join in the conversation. Receive life-changing, positive transformation and rise together to create a sound world. And here's your host, Kara Johnstad.
Johnstad, and welcome to Voice Rising, where each week we dive into the big questions on how we as a humanity can fine-tune our body, mind, spirit system. And I am honored today to have with me in studio Dr. Bruce Lipton, an internationally recognized authority in bridging science and spirit, and a leading voice in new biology. Welcome. Welcome,
Kara.
Bruce Lipton. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here with you in your living room at this time and with this wonderful community of people who are waking up to a new world. And perhaps we could help them with a little point here and there about how to empower themselves to go through this time and be in health and happiness and harmony.
That's it. Health and happiness and harmony. Exactly, in this time. And the interview is called You Are Powerful. So what would you say to people? What do you think people could feel like and realize if they realize that they are actually very powerful and are not victims of genetics and are not victims even of their programs and conditionings, but have the ability to come into harmony and tune in at every moment and be their full selves?
Well, I guess the most important insight is this. There are people that experience something they call heaven on earth. And what's heaven on earth? I say, well, what's heaven? And then you give me your version of, this is what I think heaven is. I always liked it because there was a guy talking about his version of heaven. And he said he was a duck hunter. And he said, oh, I love it. Every day I go out hunting ducks. And the guy talking to him said, well, your version of heaven must be the duck's version of hell. And the reality, everyone has their own version of heaven, whatever it is you want. And the fact is, yes, but here you can create every one of those visions that you would like to have. But you have to understand how powerful you are. But the most important thing is to recognize you have been disempowered. And that if you understand this, how you've been manipulated, how the world has been manipulated by people for a couple thousand years, by people who knew how to control. And the idea is now that we understand the biological foundation of creativity versus control, there's this like, oh my goodness, we're creative people, but we're creating what we've been controlled to create. How about if we wanted to create what we wanted to create? And I go, well, we do that occasionally. And I wrote a book called The Honeymoon Effect. And the idea was, it was about people being in love. And I said, well, those that have been in love, which is a pretty good number of people at some time in their life, I say, just think about it this way. Your life could be blah, 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 blah every day. And then you meet this special person and like 24 hours later, it's like, oh, life is so beautiful. It's heaven on earth. I'm loving everything. I go, your life sucked for your whole life. And then in 24 hours, you had heaven on earth. Right. And I go, you created heaven on earth. So you have to know that that was not an accident. B, you have to recognize that the blah, blah, blah period, you created that too, but without any awareness of it. And so the idea is it's time to give knowledge of how we work so that people can have power back over their creation. The fact that it's a creation is not just a new agey kind of thing here. For 75 years or almost 100 now, quantum physics, let me emphasize this most important part. Quantum physics is the most valid, tested, affirmed, truthful science on planet Earth. There's no science that has been tested more and verified more. So if you're going to question a science, the last one we question is quantum physics. And I say, so I go, the first principle of quantum physics is consciousness is creating your life experiences. And that sounds like, oh, that sounds like so new age. I go, well, it's only been about 100 years and it's the most valid science on the planet. And biology has now recognized the mechanics of how consciousness creates the world that we want. Or, unfortunately, if your consciousness has been pre-programmed by other people, then you're creating their reality. And it's time for us to recognize, wait, I'm a creator. Then if I'm a creator, then how come life doesn't look like heaven for me? I go, because you have been really unaware of the fact that 95% of your creative abilities have been programmed during the first 7 years of your life.
Yeah.
And I go,
Let's go there. The 95% of your programs have been programmed in those first 7 years, and I believe you talked that we're in a theta, like a theta state. We're almost a hypnotic state.
Not almost.
We are.
This is precisely hypnosis. Let's put it this way. Let's first take a step back and then come forward. Our first step back is this. Everyone talks about the brain as being a computer. It is. It is a computer beyond any human capability of creating said computer, okay?
Right.
But I say it is a computer, and as a computer, it has basic understanding of any computer, and I go, what is that? And I say, look, let's go to the store today, right now. Go buy a brand new computer and bring it home. Plug it in, push start, and it boots up. And I go, great. Now I say, do something. And you go, you mean like write or draw or spreadsheet? And I go, yeah, do something. You go, can't do anything. Why not? I didn't get any programs to use in the computer. A computer can boot itself up, but if there's no programs, you can't do anything with it. So before you can use a computer, first you have to download programs in a computer. And then once that computer's got programs in it, then you as the operator can call up a program and you can work with any program. Okay, so I go, so relationship is this. A brain is a computer. A child's brain is actually working in the sense of it's got a startup. It can boot itself up by the last trimester of pregnancy. So a fetus, before it's born, has an operating system, but it's got no programs. So a fetus can't do anything without it, okay? So you want to program, you need to put programs. I go, well, nature is amazing because nature created the first 7 years of life as programming. So what do you mean? I say, when you put wires on a person's head, it's called electroencephalograph. You could read their brain function. I go, yeah. And I say, functions are read as vibrations, electrical activity of the brain. And there are levels of vibration from very low vibrations to very high vibrations. And the higher the vibration, the more consciousness. So I say, let's start with the lowest vibration. This is what we're in when we're sleeping at night, or a fetus is in before the programs come in. And I say, what is that vibration? I say, it's theta. Excuse me.
Delta.
The delta, the lowest one.
Epsilon is very slow, right?
You got me. Thank you for being alert, because don't let me go away there with the wrong thing. Delta,
you might lowest. Be wandering into theta. I mean, never know, right?
Well, this is where we go. So that delta, the lowest vibration. And then for the first 7 years, the higher vibration, predominant activity of the brain is called theta. Now, theta is not consciousness. It's just below consciousness. And I say, well, what is theta? I say, well, it's characterized as imagination. And so you can say when a child's in theta, I say, how do I know? Because they mix the real world and the imaginary world together. So a tea party, you pour nothing into the cup. You drink nothing and go, oh, that was the best tea I ever had. Right. Or you have a broom and you're riding it. You call it a horse because in your mind, that broom is not a broom, it's a horse. And so you're mixing an imagination with reality. So to the child, the mother says, give me the broom. The child is like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is a horse, because imagination. I go, cool. And then by age 7, we start to kick up to a higher vibration of operation called alpha, which is calm consciousness. And then by around 12, the brain cranks up to a higher vibration called beta, which is like schoolroom kind of stuff, like what we're doing right here, beta.
Really?
Focus.
Are we?
We sure are. And there's even a higher one called gamma. And gamma is called peak performance vibration. So let's say a tennis star in a final match is way above beta. They're in gamma. They're in peak performance. Or a pilot landing an airplane is in beta until they start to land the airplane, and all of a sudden it gets heightened awareness, gamma, in landing the airplane. So there's a heightened one, peak performance. Okay?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Okay. So here we are in Theta, and we know we come to the earth with a very big, strong voice. This show is all about voice, okay? We're in utero, and we even have our voice and our mother's voice. We're already getting, I'm assuming, programmed by our environment. That's what
Absolutely.
All the science is saying. We come out before we can chew, before we can speak, before we can sit, before we can crawl, walk or run. We have a voice. Mom is singing to us lullabies. People are reading to us stories, programming us with this voice, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
we start with about the age of 2 or 3 also to sing all of our processes. We know that kids even are singing before they speak. They're like, I'm going to the whatever, right? So
yes.
And when I was researching this interview, I always had this question, and I might have found the answer by synchronicity with you. I always wanted to know if we as children go from sitting, crawling to walking, and at some point we stop walking, we would say we have a problem as society. But I, as a voice expert, have taught thousands of people who remember this liberated, free, connected state that they had while singing. And yet most of the adults are terrified to sing, don't feel like they have a great voice, and are absolutely afraid. So my question is, number one, are we in Theta when we're singing? Because this answer is not yet on the internet. I Googled it the whole time. What brain state are we in when we sing? And can we quickly reprogram and connect the different layers of emotional being and thought through song?
Okay, let's start with this. While you're a fetus, you have hearing. You can hear. And that's why the story, as you said, you could sing to a fetus, or you read a story to a fetus, and when the baby is born, it'll have a memory of that. And that's because it's learning, okay? And learning is in a state of theta, taking the outside and just bringing it inside as a program. Interestingly enough, the cadence of talk and speech has a rhythm to it, and it's different for each language. So that a Chinese baby can have more of a harmony with the Chinese language because that's what it hears, and there's a cadence to it. And if you speak English to a Chinese baby, it's out of cadence. The baby's like doesn't pick it up because it's not a vibration that is recognized. Mm-hmm. So it turns out there's a language recognition by cadence and voice that is picked up before the child's even born. So a child just born can distinguish between the language of its parents and the language of somebody foreign to that parent, because they immediately can hear that they're behind the talking, the cadence is different than the other language. So they start to pick up cadence. Well, cadence is beat. This is a beat. And a beat is the foundation of music. You got to start with a rhythm, a beat, and a language.
Sorry, can I interrupt you? I'm assuming it's also the overtones, because if you have only monotone, you would not have any overtones in the voice. So the overtones would also give the melodic structure, and the
it fills in.
Are the fractals, because you're talking about sacred geometry also.
Yeah. Yeah.
The overtones, all these fractals. Yeah.
They fill in the picture. In other words, it's like I could sing a vocal with my voice, and that's nice. But what if I put an orchestra behind it? Oh, now the grandeur and the emphasis with the words and all that. All of a sudden, it's a much bigger picture. The voice alone is like a stick figure. But when you put the orchestra behind it, you fill it in with the color and all the fine, subtle changes in words and speaking. So a child picks up the vibrations of sound before any understanding of what those vibrations mean. Mm-hmm. Sounds are, let's say, words. I say a child can hear the vibration of a word, like on an oscilloscope. You can put it on and see the charge. The child reads the vibration, but in the beginning, a child has no meaning as to what that vibration represents. And then through its development, this is red. Oh, red is a word. And now I point to it. This is red. This is red. This is red. Now a vibration has meaning to it. And so the idea is the child picks up vibrations first. And this is why so important point. Mm-hmm. Humans use language as we talk about. We're using language right now to talk. But here's the most important fact. The fundamental language of every living organism on this planet is vibration. That bacteria communicate by vibration. Plants have a vibration. Shamans read vibrations. A shaman can tell you if this plant is good or not based on the vibration. And I say from the most primitive organism, bacteria, to every organism, to humans, the first and foremost and primal language is vibration. Now, you can characterize vibration as music or noise, which is not music, complete opposite, like a sine wave, which is beautiful, versus a jaggy like EEG or EKG, thing like this. I say organisms have always first communicated by vibration. And the relevance about that is vibration doesn't require a language. Vibration, every atom and molecule vibrates. That's what we see in spectroscopic studies of chemicals, or when you look at absorption or emission spectrum, the spectrum of elements. If you go to your chemistry book, which when I was going to school 100 years ago, was the only color picture in the textbook, was the spectrum of emission and absorption of all the elements. Mm-hmm. Each element has a different series of light frequencies to it. And I say, well, light is what you see, but light is frequency. And so that every organism is vibrating. Why? Because every atom vibrates, okay? And it's the vibration of the atoms that determine whether atoms come together in harmony or whether atoms push each other apart. So when atoms come together in harmony, that's called constructive interference. Let's put the word interference. Vibrations are like ripples on a pond. So visualize ripples on a pond. 2 raindrops hit the pond at the same time. Same size raindrops. They hit the pond at the same time. Guess what? They're both going, ripples are both going up. The ripples are both going down. They're both going up and going down. The ripples are in harmony with each other. In other words, a frequency is a wave like a ripple. And if the waves are in coherence, they're both going up, they're both going down, and they're in harmony with each other. When the two interfere, it's called interference, that they add up the value of the waves. That's called constructive interference. I say, what do you mean? Well, when you add a wave, the ripple that we're talking about, the height of the ripple is power. What I mean, I say, well, drop a little pebble in the pond and you get a little ripple. Drop a big rock in the pond and you get a giant ripple. I say, well, when that rock hits the water, it translates the vibration to the water. And the water is then is being shaped by the vibration of that rock. I say, so what? I said, little ripples, small, don't have a lot of power. But you drop a big rock, you get this big ripple. I say, that's a lot of power. So I say, power is the height of the ripple. Fine. I say 2 ripples coming together, they interfere, but when they're both in harmony, both going up, both going down, and they come together, they add up to each other so the ripples get higher. The power of each ripple is added together, constructive, so that 2 lower power ripples with low ripple, when come together, can make a higher ripple because their energies are in harmony. Constructive interference. Now, that's a physics term, but everyone has experienced it in their life because vibration is understood by every organism, bacteria, through humans without even language involved.
We are going to interrupt and take a small break and be back with Dr. Bruce Lipton.
The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, AM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hi, this is David Strickle. I'm excited to share my brand new show, The Stream of David Live, right here on OMTimes Radio. Each week I'll have exciting guests and I'll channel the eternal wisdom of the stream, a group of non-physical entities whose teachings have transformed lives all over the world. So join us for an uplifting hour each Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. That's The Stream of David Live right here on OMTimes Radio.
With happy clients all over the world, Cara Johnstad knows that your voice is the missing link to more authenticity, abundance, creativity, and health. An internationally acclaimed voice expert, Cara's breakthrough methods have helped thousands of people successfully heal their voice wounds and extinguish the story of self-doubt and shyness forever. Join in group trainings, attend online sessions, schedule one-on-one time, and invite Cara to work with your organization and community. Get started today. Go to www.carajohnstad.com and receive a special guided meditation designed to fine-tune your inner voice and welcome you on the voice journey.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Voice Rising. I am your host, Cara Johnstad, and with me in studio is Dr. Bruce Lipton.
What would be the experience of two energies? You're an energy, you're a vibration. Why? Every atom and molecule vibrates. No two people vibrate at the same vibrational frequency. So that's what makes every one of us a slightly different vibration. But I say what? I say, Cara, you and I, let's say, are vibrating near the same frequency, the same vibration, right? And we get in contact with each other. Then I say your vibration and my vibration are both going up and down. They're in harmony. They interfere and they add up more power. And I say that's constructive interference. And then you go, that's too physics. Give me a human thing. I go, good vibes. Good vibes mean that two energies come together and they amplify each other. More power. Why should that be good or bad? And the answer is this. Ready? The most fundamental. Vibration is life. If there's no vibration and nothing is moving, there is no life to it. So life is vibration, okay? And so I say, well, more energy is more life, more vibration, more life. As you reduce the vibration, you lose life. So constructive interference means two vibrating elements that are in harmony. When they come together, both going up the waves, both going down, up and down, they're in harmony. When they come together, they add up the waves. Power is increased. Constructive interference, good vibes. How do you know if somebody is in harmony with you? You feel it before even talking to them. Why? Because the vibes precede the talking language, okay? Yeah. Everything has a vibration. I'll give a simple point. A snail comes out of an egg. There's no mother, there's no father, there's no school, there's no, the snail is thrown into the universe with nobody there. And I said, well, how does it know where to go? And I go, vibration. I go, what do you mean? I said, when the vibrations are in harmony, they add up more power. So as the snail is moving through its world, it only has one gauge on its dashboard, just one gauge, energy gauge. If it starts moving and the energy starts to go up, it says, you're moving toward more life, because more vibration, more energy, more life. So the snail moves in that direction. But a snail can run into a place where the energy is less and canceled. I go, we talked about interference, two waves in harmony coming together and adding themselves up, constructive interference. But now let's add the other end of the spectrum, and then the story will be complete. And I say, what if I drop one rock before I drop the other rock? And I say, why? Because when I drop this one, the ripple is going up. But when I drop this one, the ripple is going down. And when this one's going down, this one's going up. And I go, what does that mean? I say, they're not in phase. They're not in harmony. One is going up, the other is going down. I say, so what happens when two waves that are not in harmony come together? I say, add up the value of the waves. And I say, yeah, but one is a down, that's a negative, and the other one's up, that's a positive. I say, yeah, but bring those two together, it's zero. I go, wait, you mean two energies can come together and cancel each other out? And I say, if they're not in phase, if they're not in harmony, it's interference, but it's not constructive, because when they're out of phase, they cancel each other out. That's called destructive interference. And people have felt that in their life, because the common feeling of destructive interference is called bad vibes. I go, what is bad vibes? I say, let's say you've been someplace, you're in a dark area, you don't know where you are, you're feeling a little nervous about your life, and all of a sudden you feel your energy draining. I say, what happens when you feel your energy draining? You feel more vulnerable. I go, why? Because as your energy is draining, energy is life. You bring the energy down, you ultimately lose life. So good vibes are when two things that are vibrating come together and they amplify the waves, and that's constructive, and that's more power. So we move toward things that give us good vibes. That's nature. That a snail will do it, a human will do it. Why? Because energy is life. So I want to move toward more energy. I go, well, then move toward where the vibrations are higher, where harmony is present, okay? Mm-hmm. And in contrast, if you start to experience your energy waning, falling away, that's when you feel vulnerable. Why? Because when you have no energy, you have no life. So all of a sudden, if your energy is being drained out of you, you immediately will go, you can feel your life is in trouble here. So bad vibes is when a vibration is not in harmony with you and cancels you. And a good vibe is when a vibration is in harmony and it's additive. So the snail goes out into its world. As it's moving along, the gauge on the dashboard says we're moving toward higher and higher energy. It sees this plant and it says, ooh, that might be good to eat. And I say, how would you know if it's good to eat? Because the plant has a vibration, the snail has a vibration, and if they're in harmony with each other, then that plant will enhance the vibration of the snail because it's taking in the energy. So it knows, eat this plant. But if the snail starts to move in a direction where its life is threatened by predators or toxic plants, okay, the snail will immediately see the needle on the dashboard is going down to lower and lower energy. Point. All it has to do now is turn around and start moving to where the compass says higher and higher energy. That's how it directs its life. There's no school. There's no teaching. I say, what does the snail depend on? I go, vibration. If the vibration is enhanced, this is good for me. If the vibration is weaker, this is bad for me. So simple.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. The question is, because we started out, we are powerful beings, right? So the question is, I'm not sure if a snail can emit singing, but the question is, we then in this example can literally create the vibrations within our body. And we know, people say, when you're afraid, whistle. We know that we know that when we sing, we're feeling good. So probably, I'm assuming that all those people that are really, really feeling depressed and really sad, they might not be making a tone. They might be very, very quiet, and the larynx might be very low, and they might be just not emitting good sounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is history. I mean, for thousands of years, from Plato, from the Greeks, and way back, they all knew that music was healing.
Right.
When music was in harmony, it enhanced your vibration, and more vibration is more energy. So they knew it thousands of years ago that music was capable of giving us harmony. Okay, music can also be used to create war. That's a different vibration. And that's like the march music and the military kind of music that is like boom, 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 like that.
And
that's
the messages of the music, right? The words, the conditioning inside the music, the lyrics also.
Yeah, but both of them count because the music itself can do it without the lyrics. And the music with the lyrics is amplifying the message even more because now it's putting it in a different context. Okay, that's using language. Okay, that's why I say the first language is vibration. That was there from the first organism right up through us. And we're capable of using this vibration as the snail. I said, what did the snail do? I said, it directed its whole life by just reading the vibration. I go, if we paid attention to the same vibration that is being read by the snail, is being read by us, then we have at our fingertips or in our mind information about everything in our environment. Should I eat this food? Should I be with this person? Everything in between. Why? Everything vibrates. Every atom and molecule emits a vibration and absorbs vibration. That's a fundamental physics. So your atoms and your molecules have a unique signature vibration. No two people have the same vibration. And that's because we receive different signals based on our identity. And I go, so everybody vibrates. And if people vibrate in harmony with each other, they come together in a community. That's what community is, bringing everybody in harmony, because the more power to your vibration, the more power you have access to in creating your life. If I take away your power, then you're a victim and you have no ability to move unless I give you that power. And so therefore, I say, well, what's interesting is the idea that vibration, words, and all these things and visions are shaping us through the learning experiences. For 400 years, this is critical, for 400 years, the Jesuits have told their followers, give me a child until it is 7 and I will show you the man. Mm-hmm. And I said, what the heck does that mean? I go, the first 7 years is programming, how to respond to the world. Okay. And a child learns that from teachers, be they parents or siblings or community or teachers. They learn meanings to put to the vibrations. And therefore they're being programmed, because that's what the first 7 years is. I said the child's brain last trimester of pregnancy, operating system's in, it needs programs. The next 7 years in a state of theta, a mindset below consciousness. And theta is hypnosis, not just imagination. That's how a child downloads its program. It doesn't have to think and be conscious of the teacher and analyze and anything. Whatever the teacher said, the word just got downloaded. That's hypnosis, okay? So the Jesuits were telling people for 400 years, if I can get the program your first 7 years, I own your life. And I said, well, how does that happen? And then that's where a number came up earlier in our conversation. I'll bring it back. And that is, we are controlling our life with our mind. And I say, our mind. And almost like, there's a thing, one thing called the mind. I go, no. The mind is two things. And they're two interdependent components. If you put them together and group them together and say the mind, then you're really missing the picture. The mind has, as we can subdivide it, I can say there's a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. You go, what's the difference? Subconscious mind are programs. You don't have to think about it. Below consciousness. You don't have to control your heart. You don't have to control your breathing. You don't have to control your temperature. It's below consciousness. It's called subconscious. And so you're built in with a bunch of programs already of blood pressure, temperature, and all that kind of stuff like that. But then we begin to learn about the things in our life. Are there things that we want to gravitate to or things we want to stay away from? I said, how do you know that? I said, teachers. Whoever taught you, this is how you do it. And I say, that's a program. I go, yeah. Now comes the part, as I said, the subconscious mind is program. The conscious mind is creative. That's what made humans different than all the lower organisms. If we have imagination, conscious mind, imagination precedes our manifestation. In other words, hey, wouldn't it be great to go to the moon on a rocket ship? And the first thing is, what's a rocket ship? And what the hell is the moon? First, you have to put those programs in. And then you go, oh, yeah, that would be really great. And then what have humans done? With imagination, they were capable of manifesting a reality to do this. So imagination starts and manifestation proceeds from that imagination. And I say, well, imagination is the one that said, hey, imagine living in the most wonderful, beautiful environment with health and happiness and music and friends and parties and blah, blah, blah. I go, that's imagination. I say, yeah, you want to create that? You can create that. We've done it. I say, so we create. But then I say, how much, and this is the whole critical thing, Kara, as we've been talking, the most critical thing is I have two minds, habit, creativity. When I'm in creativity, imagine the vehicle like the body like a vehicle. Imagine the body as a vehicle and there's a steering wheel, okay? When consciousness is driving and has its hands on the wheels, it takes you toward imagination, wishes, and desires. When you are driving a vehicle with your hands on the wheel with wishes and desires, you go to wishes and desires. I go, great. But then it turns out the conscious mind is only controlling the biology 5% of the day. What does that mean? I say 5% of the day you are moving your life towards your destination of wishes and desires, honeymoon, happiness, joy, love, whatever the heck you want. You're moving 5%. I go, why only 5%? And the answer is because when we are thinking, it takes the focus of the conscious mind to go into your thinking. I go, where's thinking occurring? Inside your head. That's where thought is. So I say, Kara, tell me what you're doing on Thursday. If it's not in front of you at this second, right now, and I ask you, Kara, what you're doing on Thursday, in a moment, you'll be able to tell me exactly. And I said, where'd you get the information from? He said, oh, I thought about it. I said, thought? Yeah. I went into my head, focused my intention, and said, Thursday, what am I doing Thursday? And I go, and that's really great. And I go, well, here's the problem. When consciousness is driving the car, it's got its hands on its wheels, looking out the windshield. This is where we're going. This is where we're going. But I say, if you start thinking, consciousness lets go of the wheel. Why? Because it's not looking out the windshield anymore. Now it's looking back inside to find, what the heck am I doing on Thursday? I go, why is it relevant? Well, if consciousness is not looking out the window, then who's going to drive the vehicle? You got your vehicle's moving. Who's driving? I go, subconscious is autopilot. The moment conscious starts thinking, it redirects the attention, not to the outside, but thinking is inside. Subconscious, with its programs, will drive the vehicle and take it to the destination of the program. I go, then how much of the day is this? I go, 95% of the day, you're being driven, the hands on the wheel are not you and your wishes, desires, conscious mind. 95% of the day, you are being driven by subconscious programs below consciousness. And I go, what does that mean? I said, well, it's taking you to a destination. I go, is it taking you to a destination you want to go? I go, it depends on the program. Where'd you get the program? From other people, 7 years. I observed them. And I say, why did we have hypnosis? And I go, here's the point. How many rules do you have to know to become a functional member of a family and a functional member of a community? If there were books, Kara, you see all the books behind you in that bookcase? See the books behind me on this bookcase?
It's all voices.
These are all the programs. I said, where'd you get these? Education. I said, all these programs back here? I go, yep, they're in the subconscious mind. I said, where'd you get them from? Teacher. Who's a teacher? Mother, father, siblings, community. I go, so why is it relevant? Because if an infant had to learn all the rules to be a member of a family and community, I said, you're going to read these books? I said, the infant can't read these books. So how's an infant going to learn the rules? And I go, nature provided that the first 7 years is to observe the behavior of others and download that as our own behavior. So the first programs that come in didn't come from your wishes and desires at all. Came from observing your parents. I say, how are their programs? I go, usually screwed up like everybody else's programs. So I say, if your teacher gives you a screwed up program, you have a screwed up program. I say, yeah, but you don't want to use that. I want to create heaven on earth. I want to be conscious, and my conscious mind will take me there. And I go, but thinking is 95% of the day. I say, so what? I say, if the conscious mind is thinking, it defaults to the program of the subconscious. I go, and the subconscious programs? I go, oh yeah, I got them from my mother and my father and my family and school and all that stuff. So I say, then 95% of the day, the bottom line conclusion is just straight important, and that is this. 5% of the day, you are moving your life in the direction of your wishes and desires.
We are going to take a short break.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
As I'm sure you know, it is time to celebrate self-discovery and personal growth. But you know, your efforts have to be consistent in order to stay balanced and to overcome depression and fears. So, what new books are available? How do you stay centered? Elizabeth Joyce and her guests will help you find out. That's Elizabeth Joyce on Let's Find Out, Mondays at 6 p.m. on OMTimes Radio.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Voice Rising. I am your host, Kara Johnstad.
We have wishes and desires. I'm going to heaven, but our life is taking us into hell. And then you go, I'm a victim. I wanted to go up to the heaven, and the universe is taking me down to hell. I go, wait a second. You're not a victim. You are creating. You're creating both the direction to go to heaven and unconsciously, subconsciously, 95% of your life is not coming from that plan. 95% of your life is coming from that program. So are you a victim? And the answer is no, you're a creator. You create both the heaven and you unconsciously, subconsciously create the hell. And I say, why is it relevant? Because if I say I'm a victim and that I wanted to go to heaven and I ended up blah, 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 and I'm a victim that says I have no power. It happened to me. I am powerless. I go, that's the biggest problem in the world. Because if you knew you were the one driving the vehicle into hell, then you're the one at any moment with that consciousness go, what the hell am I doing? I got to change. I got to change this direction. I go, yep. That's when you took back creative power. But
do you want to know a different take?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. So the different take is we've already said that we're vibration. We're of sound mind and sound body, correct? We are in harmony. We can come into resonance and have the good vibes, all right? So for me, it's fascinating as a speaker and singer, somebody who works with the voice, to say, if you watch how a baby, before they're getting programmed, all of these words that then get meaning, they are sound bites. And in our throat, and this is what I really was excited to talk to you about, if you think about that in our mind, you have what you've been researching that also yogis have known and everybody knows, the crystalline structure. And the water is in our bodies, right? We don't have as much water in the brain. We have water in the bodies. Crystal and water is, of course, loving the programs. And our vocal folds, and this is my exciting thing, are as are the tip of the tongue and the soft palate and the tongue, the situation. It's doing binary coding with the open-closed system. So every child that comes onto the earth is going, If I take your word, let's say I take your word, which word should I take? Give me a word. Give me a word. Give me one word. Give me a word.
Conscious.
Conscious. How many sounds are in the word conscious?
You got to look at a dictionary where they have them all separated into little syllables.
No, it's not a syllable. How many sounds? K, sh, s. Yeah. How many
Complex.
words in the word? So, and as soon as was what I tell people when they feel screwed over by their programs, as soon as you unravel these codings, let's say your mom's an idiot, and you just say the word idiot. You say, idiot, and then you undo it. You come back to pure vibrational state. And the amazing thing is that your vocal folds, and I know this because I'm a specialist in voice, have two functions. One is open, close, as does the tip of your tongue and your lips. It's all this open, close, making all these different sounds. And when your system is closed, your heart and your lungs are, through vibration, actually protected. Nothing can come in, right? So a lot of times when we feel very unsafe, we were talking about unsafe, if we hum or if we close the system, actually nothing can come into our lungs and nothing can hurt us. We know that if somebody screams at us, our larynx closes, our throat closes and goes down towards our heart. Damn, I'm strong. I'm not going to be messed with here. My throat, and that's this also the exciting research about the tonsils. I was so blown away because our throat has functions that we don't even, everyone's talking out there, you and all the big visionaries out there about mind and heart. And I am here to appeal to you that the throat has so much amazing stuff happening. It's really a portal, and it's connecting the heart and mind all the time. And the way that the kids are brought onto the earth with a full voice, and they're really doing little tiny programming sound bites. And the programs, yes, they come later when the kid realizes that the red, and somebody says, oh, it's red. But somewhere you're going to say, I know you're going to say this, what's my program? What's my central voice? What's my true voice? Is there a voice? Is there a vibrational frequency of the universe? Is there a central essence of my core signature vibration? Is it, or is it just all borrowed stuff? And my thing is that it's your body can, like a computer, like you're saying, program, but if we are not aware of how we've lost the full harmonic frequency of our voice, which most people have, we basically are giving ourselves a feedback loop that we're not healthy only from the sound, not even from the sabotage language that we're emitting. I mean, that takes a lot of consciousness to figure out, okay, that's my program here, and that came from this teacher, and that's not serving me well, and, that's not really what I need. But if we become aware of the sound quality that we're putting into our body with the voice that we are emitting 24/7, we would also, I think, come back to that place of remembrance of our harmony that we carry within ourselves.
Well, okay, let's start with why each person has a unique experience, okay?
Yes.
And the point about this is that I can't put my cells into your body, and you can't put your cells into somebody else's body, because if you put your cells in, their immune system will say not self and reject it. And the first thing is this: how the hell does the immune system know what self is and what not self is? And the answer is simply this: each one of us has a unique a set of antennas called receptors. What's a receptor? Receiver. On the surface of our cells, there's a set of receptors, receivers, that is unique for each individual. And these are protein antennas. I go, yeah, they're called self-receptors. Beautiful name, self-receivers, okay? In the conventional world of medicine, they looked at the receptor as what makes you different from me because we have different proteins, okay? And they use this for tissue typing when they want to transplant an organ into somebody. They want to make sure that the donor tissue has as close a set of receptors as the receiver, and that's why they check everybody who could be a potential receiver and check their self-receptors. And I go, well, so self-receptors are proteins, they're antennas. The significance about this is conventional biology in a Newtonian perspective looks at these antennas as that's the physical expression. I go, no. Quantum physics says, no, they're receivers of a vibration. A receptor responds when a harmonic vibration to that receptor is present. So I say, what's the point? I say, no two people have the same set of receptors, number one. So we each have a unique vibration, okay? So if I could just read your vibration, not see your body, it would be like a music sheet with vibration on it. And I say, so what? And I say, everybody has these vibrations. I say, but guess what? A lot of vibrations, an orchestra, all the instruments don't play the exact same song. They play different frequencies. But a composite of frequencies makes a symphony, okay? I'm a frequency, Cara, you're a frequency. If we are basically in harmony and we start to come together, then what we do is start creating the music. And the more harmony I find in supporting my vibration and it supports your vibration, and that's constructive interference, good vibes, the more power we have, okay? And I say, you know what's interesting? Since we are each a unique vibration, our identity, I'm Bruce, that's my word vibration, okay? My cells have a vibration all their own, which are different than your vibration. That's why exchanging parts with each other doesn't work. When I say, yeah, but if I have a vibration, my identity is a vibration. My identity isn't physical. It's a musical vibration because that's what my receptors pick up different than your receptors are picking up. So each of us is tuned as different vibrations. But then as we talked about, some vibrations come together and create beautiful harmony, and some vibrations, destructive interference, come together, cancel each other out, make noise, okay? So the point about it is each of us is a vibration. The body is a virtual reality suit that my vibration has a key to get into this suit so that my personal identity and my cells are sharing a common vibration. So my cell's behavior is now in harmony with my identity, which is a field, okay? So I go, so why is it relevant? Because you look at my body and go, that's who I am. I go, no, I'm the vibration that's playing through that body. And I go, why is that relevant? It's like, well, then consider the body like a television set, and my receptors, antennas called self-receptors, tuned to my signal, not your signal. So you and I could be in the same place. You're still receiving your signal. I'm receiving mine. We're both in the same field. It's just like a radio with a giant band where each of us is a different station, but we're all on the same radio band. But each of us move the dial and we have a different vibrational frequency. And I say, so why is it relevant? If you start with the recognition you are a vibrational frequency, the body is only a complement to those frequencies. Then you start to recognize this. Well, if I'm a frequency and I change the frequency, then I change who I am. I change what I'm doing. I'm changing everything. And all of a sudden it says, oh my God, then am I playing with a nice, wonderful vibration to enhance my life because that's a choice? Or am I caught up in a field with some lousy musicians who really suck at their vibrations and are canceling my life because I'm in that field? I say everything's vibration. And then I say, here's the coolest part of what makes humans different is all other organisms essentially respondents to the existing vibration. They're a victim of the existing vibration. Humans are unique because we can manifest vibration. And so I can create a vibration that enhances my vibration, or I could sing a song that takes away my vibration, the sad one that brings me down or the one that brings me up. That was my choice. So humans can make vibration. And if I can make a vibration, I can use a vibration that I create to cancel a negative vibration, or I can use a vibration that I create to enhance a harmonic vibration. I'm the creator of that vibration. That frees me from being a victim of the field. I'm an independent element. Why? I can change my vibration. I could sing a different song. I can change who it is. And it's very interesting because in real astrology, not so much the newspaper version, but the real astrology, there's a foundational equation that real astrologers use that most astrologers don't use at all because it's fundamental. And I go, what is it? It's a degree of consciousness. I go, what do you mean? If you have no consciousness, essentially, I can predict exactly what you're going to do. Yeah. I can tell you that the birds are going to show up at Capistrano on this day. The turtles are going to walk on the beach on this day. I can tell you why, because they are locked into the field. Yeah. But if I can be in the field and then create a vibration that can constructively interfere and enhance that vibration, or I can create a vibration that is destructive interference, I can cancel vibration. The more conscious I am, the less affected I am by the field around me. And astrology uses this vibrational frequency to understand your consciousness. Why? Because if you're not conscious, I'm going to predict what the hell you're going to do. But the more conscious you are, the less capable I am of predicting, because you get freedom. Freedom of what? Oh, I can broadcast a vibration to cancel the negative thing so it doesn't exist anymore. Oh, I can make a vibration to enhance the positive one. I could sing the beautiful love song and melt, or I could, do the military march and then go hit somebody on the head with a mallet, I go, why is it different? Why am I different than the lower animals? And the answer is simple. Lower animals have a fixed vibration and they respond directly to whether it's good vibes or bad vibes. Humans have a vibration, but we are capable with consciousness, not subconscious, consciousness in this case, to do what? Redirect the vibration. I can manifest vibration. Well, if I can manifest vibration, I can manifest the one that enhances my life, or I can manifest a vibration that takes away my life based on what I am being conscious of. And music is one of the forms of manifesting a vibration with an intention. I'm going to make music to do what? Lift me up. How am I going to do that? I'm going to write music that when I write it, it's going to be in harmony with me. When I play that music, I don't have to even worry about it because the field around me is going to interfere in a constructive way to enhance my power. So when I hear you play the music, Cara, that music can make me, I could just sit there and go, oh, that's so beautiful. I go, what does that mean? I say, it's bringing you peace. It's taking noise out. It's bringing harmony in. It's a very powerful field. And in that harmony, I can cancel the negative field. I can walk through the fire. That's part of the vibration.
I'm going to have to close here. There is so much knowledge and wisdom, and I invite you to join us for part 2 of You Are Powerful with Dr. Bruce Lipton at Voice Rising.